Let me go ahead and get that started up. But yeah, man, baby's gonna be sleeping, and I have somewhere to be at 4:00. So hopefully we don't find a way to rant and rave about something for long.
Yeah, we manage.
This is true for a long, extensive period of time.
Oh man, so we got some goodies for you guys this week. We're gonna try and keep it nice, short, and concise because we're trying to hit Mariano's before they close everything down. And I don't mean the store; I mean like the restaurants.
Oh, okay. What time did they close normally?
I don't know, but if you go on a weekday, they're usually like packing up, or it's just scraps by like 7:00.
Okay.
So that's on a weekday,
Yeah. You were well. I mean, I know you had the job and everything like that, but you are very familiar with the schedule when it comes to.
Did I tell you that story that?
Yeah,
I think I might have. Where I walked in there with a clipboard and it was suddenly like super nice to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Mariano's is a really cool place, man.
Not to say that they don't value their customers; they absolutely do. But
they do.
When you seem to have some sort of authority over them,
when you look like an auditor, people are gonna shaping up. There's actually this security company, and they do like IT security, right?
Yeah.
And that's a very like delicate field because everything's on the internet now. And so I was reading one of their posts, and they were doing they essentially come in and they're like a penetration tester company. So they come in and try to fuck your shit up and expose your shit.
Yep.
So they went into a bank, right? The bank hired them, and they're like, "Hey, break in." So what did they do? One guy came in with a ladder and a clipboard, and he's like, "Hey, I'm here for maintenance. Can you take me to the safe room?" No resistance.
At all.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then like that was one of the things that they said was that you'd be surprised how far you could get if you come in with a button down and a clipboard. Like people don't ask questions.
Huh.
And that was one of the things that they did, and they did this whole crazy evaluation and stuff, and they get away with all sorts of wacky stuff, but it's like a team of 7 people. It's a real small company, but they make big bank because if like a massive corporation hires you on and they're like, "Hey, show us where our problems are," and then they expose everything. Or like another thing they do too is that they have I can't remember what the hashtag was on Twitter, but they have this whole massive like page where they'll like hashtag it, and it's people that leave their IDs exposed. So a lot of times you'll see like an ID on like a belt loop, and so they'll take a picture of the dude's ID, and now they have all the information, and they'll fucking put it up on Twitter, and it's like awareness and prevention.
Well, it's funny because like how these companies want you to have your ID exposed like at all times, but they don't understand the repercussions of somebody getting their hands on it. You know what I mean?
Well, UPS wasn't like that. You just needed to get in and out.
No, you were supposed to have it exposed. We just never enforced it.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah. My job, I don't even use my ID to get into the door. I have a hard key.
Yeah.
And, granted, I work in corporate, and if you work in like the locations, it's going to be a little bit different there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just think it's super interesting.
Yeah, definitely. All right, buddy. So you ready to get this?
Ready to rock and roll. Let's get this boat rolling.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Second City Kids podcast, episode number 101. Oh, 110. I'm sorry. Well, I dyslexic moment there. I'm sorry. It is a relatively nice day on the south side of Chicago, Illinois today. It's starting to feel like spring, Gabe.
Yeah, man. When it was 60 earlier in this week, I was like, board shorts, let's go.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I guess like by Wednesday, it's supposed to be like 65 or something.
That's nice, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
We could use the break.
That's a good working weather.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're back. So I got a story. It's not like overly funny, but it's something that me and Adriana had a good chuckle over. So Adriana picked me up from work, right? And we had some time. It was like maybe like 8:45 or whatever. So we went to go pick up the baby because obviously my mom was watching her, right? We went to go pick up the baby. And then we're driving down Harlem, right? We're like, oh, Potbelly's. It's been a while, right? Let's go to Potbelly's. So we go. And by this time, it's like maybe like 9:10, right? So we get there and I'm walking towards the door, and I see the people working inside. And I look at the door, and it's like 9:10. And I'm like, shit, I close at 9. But there's this moment where they look at me, I look at them, and there's like this frozen kind of moment where they're like, oh, man, is he going to try to come in here even though it's 10 minutes after closing? And I'm like, oh, man, am I really going to be that guy who tries to come in 10 minutes after closing? So I look, and I just like snap my fingers and walk back the other direction, and they were stoked. But as I get into the car, I realize they run towards the door and lock it because they didn't close the door yet.
Oh, my God.
So if I walked in, technically, they would have to like serve me, I guess. But there, like I said, there was like this moment of What's the word
That
I'm looking
moment
for?
of panic, the deer in the headlights look, where they're like, "Did anybody lock the fucking door?"
No, so like I said, we made eye contact, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be that
That's
guy.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
man.
so I turned around, and like I said, as we were pulling away, I'm like, oh, look at that, they didn't close the door. Me and Adrian had a good laugh over it. We thought it was kind of funny.
Man, Potbelly's actually has a really nice assortment of quote unquote secret menu items.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, man. Have you fucked around with any of that?
I had the Lucky 7. I think
Well,
you recommended that
yeah,
one.
how'd you like it?
It was pretty good.
The thing was stacked, huh?
Because the thing is, like, I like Potbelly's. I think it's pretty good. But
Yeah.
the only problem is I have an issue, or when I go, it tends not to fill me up like all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like 75% full, and I'm like, man, I can eat something else after the fact. But
Get some soup.
But there's that. But the Lucky 7 gets me all the way full. So,
Yeah.
So that's good.
The Lucky Seven's like almost everything on the menu, man. It's crazy.
Basically every piece of meat
the,
they have.
I like the Sicilian. They take the Italian, crack it open, toss some meatballs and marinara sauce in there.
Ooh.
And that just hits all the good points I want, you know?
What is it called?
The Sicilian.
What's it again?
It's the Italian sub, but they crack it open and they toss in meatballs and marinara sauce.
Huh.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta try that shit, man.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think I've gotten anything else at Potbelly's for a very long time.
We're gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to look into that then.
Yeah, man.
All right, man.
Good shit.
So we have a little bit of an agenda here today. It is St. Patrick's Day, right?
Yeah.
Is it officially St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, today's official.
Well, happy St. Patrick's
it's Facebook
Patrick's Day
official.
to all my Irish folks out there. Me, not Irish, don't care. But if you are, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the agenda. We got movies and TV. We're starting off with. So Looking for Alaska. This is something that I hold near and dear to my heart. Right.
Yeah.
Did you read this?
Yes, I did.
you did?
I enjoy John Green's work. I think this is probably my favorite of his works.
I think that's very easy to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was a very good story, especially if you read it like in high school.
I
Like,
did.
You know, that shit was super like relevant to
Yeah,
you.
it definitely
in a different way.
absolutely. It definitely hit you all in all the right spots because you were like couldn't relate almost.
Yeah, you were also like sexually awkward, and you know,
Yeah,
there was,
absolutely,
like, that element
absolutely.
to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's like I would probably agree with you. This is probably my favorite John Green book, pretty easily. I didn't read the new one though, because like I got maybe because I had the audiobook, I got maybe I don't know, like an hour into it, and like the narrator just really irritated me.
I got you.
I didn't find the narrator.
We need some more Samuel L. Jackson narrating audiobooks and Morgan Freeman.
Well, I don't mean the narrator of the audiobook. I mean the main character of the book.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
The main character of the book got on my nerves, so I fell out of it. I don't read books. I don't have the time to really do it, but audiobooks like the best way to do it for me, because when I do have that time, I don't have time to rip out a book because I got to working on different things. But you know what I mean. Audiobooks are the way to go for that, and that's why I do podcasting. Hello, so yeah, apparently there's been back and forth with the rumors recently that hey, we're gonna get a movie. Blah, blah, blah. It's been like that ever since The Fault in Our Stars came out. Well, it turns out, I guess, that Hulu got a hold of it and got a hold of all the rights, and they decided that they're gonna do a little miniseries of the whole thing, which I'm totally on board with.
Cool.
How do you feel about it?
This is one of those things where I don't think I would necessarily need a script to screen translation.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be nice to
Absolutely.
have that kind of refresher, because it's been a while since I read it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's been a while for a lot of people too.
Absolutely.
I think it really comes down to, because Hulu's got money, they got the writers and all that stuff. I think it comes down to, are they going to do an accurate representation of what we all had in our heads?
Yeah.
Because like I said, like we all kind of put ourselves in Oh Boy's shoes. It was like that awkward,
Yeah.
sexually confused guy coming into fruition, and this like super hot out of his league girl, and that's kind of a little bit different for everybody depending on your life experiences. So I think it depends on. I think a good chunk of it is going to be directing style and actor choice.
Yeah, definitely. Now, like, I don't think necessarily Looking for Alaska was a story that could translate in a 2-hour movie. So, like I said, Fault in Our Stars probably in the middle tier as far as John Green books.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, but I think that one was kind of rushed. It hit all the points, but there were some things they could have elaborated on, and they kind of chose not to because obviously the time limit. And
Miniseries and like original series are just the way to go now. 'Cause
Absolutely.
you have more time to develop and everything. You just have more time in general. Period.
absolutely, and yeah, man, you got to think back on all because obviously the wave probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago was we got to make a movie. We got to make a movie,
and then a dozen sequels.
Absolutely.
And like Alaska comes back from the dead after the car crash looking for.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, come on, man. The novel's like what, 8 years old at this point?
It's probably older than that,
Yeah.
definitely. But
yeah, man. I think about this. Like, what's easier to do, to sit down and watch The Godfather, or to sit down and watch like 6 episodes of a half-hour TV show?
this is true.
Yeah. And I love The Godfather.
Yeah.
And I'd say that trumps a majority of TV shows
Yeah.
out there. But there's just one that's much easier to digest and process.
Yeah. It's definitely the digest is the key word there, because like you said, granted, it might be a more rewarding experience to sit down and watch The Godfather, but it's so much easier to sit down and be able to pause at any time, kind of. You know what I mean?
You could literally pull out whenever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
Yeah,
but
Jake wouldn't know nothing about that.
Yeah, what it is. But so yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Like you said, I mean, there's details that they can get into that they wouldn't be able to like necessarily allow to do.
As long as we have an accurate representation, that's all I'm kind of looking for.
Yeah.
This is a novel that, means a lot. You know.
Yeah, it was incredibly successful, Pulitzer Prize winner. You know, it did a good job. So
very cool. Looking forward to it. We got an estimated date, or still kind of floating about?
Right now, it's up in the air. So
gotcha.
All right, so let's go ahead and move along. So you probably haven't seen it, I imagine.
I got some choice prime cut choice words for this.
Okay.
Some USDA grade A comments.
All right, so let's go ahead.
Was this necessary? And all right, so for everybody that has no idea what we're talking about, is this Avengers End Game trailer drop?
Yeah.
Was this at all necessary? I feel like they're just giving away more and more of the movie.
I think it was still incredibly vague. They showed a large portion of this trailer was old clips, things that already happened. So I'm not really.
It just feels kind of. I get it. You're trying to generate hype because the movie's coming out real soon and this and that. But at the end of the day, it was like, is this. Did this do anything?
I mean, yeah, it got me hyped.
Yeah, I like Hawkeye's haircut.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But like I said, it was all previous footage. A large portion of it, probably half of it, was at least previous footage. So I'm not really harping on it too bad. I do like the tagline, the whole whatever it takes thing. I do like that. I think it's kind of setting the stage and kind of showing you the stakes of everything. If you haven't really grasped that this is important,
yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But I like the trailer. I thought it was good, but the poster is fucking beautiful. Have you seen?
Yeah, it's a good looking poster. Definitely.
You took a look at it then.
Yeah.
I do like it. I guess there was some backlash because the woman who plays her name slips me. The Wakandan bodyguard lady. Her name slips me at the moment. Her name wasn't on the marquee or whatever, but so people freaked out about it, even though she's on the poster. Omens? I guess, yeah. But kind of a minor thing. But I did enjoy it. I think it was interesting. Kind of a look at what's going to happen, and still incredibly vague. I wouldn't necessarily give away any major story beats, and there's stuff that they're hiding, definitely. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good.
Should be fun, man. This whole movie train's about to take way the fuck off in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
We got like the one for us is Hellboy. I'm definitely gonna go see that. I'm hyped for that.
You're hyped about
it. And then we got Avengers. Then we got Dark Phoenix, and then we get it just steamrolls. Like Tarantino, this and that, and all this shit's gonna start flying out.
From this point on, heading into the summer, it's gonna be real good.
Yeah, real good. It's gonna be a good movie year. I think so. It's gonna be like 96 again. But
okay.
Yeah, should be interesting. My whole thing right now with Avengers is, and I'm not gonna get into the whole why I'm not this and that. I'm just kind of curious what the direction is gonna be after. Yeah,
I think
because this is 10 plus years of bullshit.
Yeah.
If you want to call it that, if you want to sum that up. It's like, what are you going to do now? Are you going to make a whole nother 10-year phase?
I don't know.
Is this genre going to last another 10 years?
Definitely.
You think so?
100%.
We'll see.
I mean, it's lasted the previous 10.
Yeah, but it's easier to look back and reflect than it is to look into the future and predict.
Not necessarily. I mean, there's things that we could hit on. I mean, I think as far as some of the major people, like some of the storylines that have come, I think they're going to come to an end.
I think they're going to start spacing out these movies better, man.
Yeah,
2 or 3 years gonna like really seriously start wearing people down.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's part of the problem, because it was like it was formerly like a once a year kind of a deal,
once a year deal. Now you get
like
an Iron Man or a Captain America or back in the day, like you got a Hulk movie. Remember the Hulk movies?
Yeah. But now it's like 2 a year, and
you get one of the main storyline, then you get like an origin or a side spin-off, and then how it integrates. And yeah, man, I'm just saying, like, they got to do something, because if they keep going at the pace it's at, I don't think it's going to last 10 years.
We'll see.
I think you'll get 5 out of it if you keep going, if you keep steamrolling. And they do have a year break in 2020, I think, after the next Spider-Man movie. There is like a year gap.
For now.
So, yeah, for now.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Until
that gets. Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah. Well, I saw something on the internet. Well, one of my buddies on the internet said something that I thought was pretty good, pretty interesting as far as like the outlook. He's like, well, it's not so much that these movies are bad. He's like, I just want to see these actors who are all very, very talented to do something else. You're like, RDJ, what has he done? Really?
Iron Man in the past 10 years.
That's what I'm saying.
I think Tropic Thunder, that was 2008.
That was like right when before the whole thing took off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And granted, Hemsworth does his own thing, and but Chris Evans really hasn't done a whole lot. Like there's a lot of good actors and actresses. Scarlett Johansson, what has she really done since taking on the whole Black Widow thing?
Average movies.
Yes, I think that's probably the most interesting part of the whole thing is that maybe these guys can get free to do something else.
And I'm not one to defend the whole big mouse thing, but why would you do anything else if Disney's paying you real good?
This is true. Well, that's not. I mean, yeah, I guess you're right about that. But
like think about it. Like, why would you at this point take up a part-time job and use up all that extra energy when you already have one good-paying job? Some people need it, others don't. It really depends on your predicament and your situation.
Absolutely.
And like I said, man, I'm not one to be like, oh, Disney, but you got to look at it from a logical standpoint. If Chris Evans can get by with $20 million a year on that very tiny, small budget, then why not?
Why do 5 movies a year when you can
he's
do
probably
one?
making more than $20 million at this point.
No, I don't want to say he's making that much, but because I think at this point, Brie Larson's the highest paid of all of them, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got lucky, I guess. I think she got in at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think it's fair.
But like, you feel me? Like you're scheduled to do like 1 or 2 movies for 3 months out of the year.
Yeah. No, you're right.
The other 9, you could just lay back and
hang out.
Well, I'm sure he has like a workout regimen and stuff, but for the most part, kind of do what you want.
Why do 5 little movies when you could do one really big one and catch a payday?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think Brie Larson's going to kind of be the face of this thing moving forward,
Yeah.
Because obviously the whole being paid the most thing, and she's kind of...
Yeah, she's going to be the new Cap, the new poster boy.
Yeah.
Poster girl.
Yeah.
So speaking about poster boys and girls, James Gunn is back for Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's double N, by the way. You put.
Yeah, I know. I see that. Thank you, Google Docs, for pointing out my mistake. So this was kind of an interesting development because nobody wanted to do the movie without him. None of the actors did.
Was that why they did it?
I'm sure it's a mix of a little bit of everything because James Gunn did go out and apologize and this and that. And granted, they were tweets from 10 years ago and this whole digging up your like graveyard of bullshit, which like I said, be careful what you put out there because it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. But it's, I think Dave Bautista and Chris Pratt and everybody else was kind of like, we're not doing it unless he's writing it. And that's the stand they took. So it was like halted. And so now we're in this interesting predicament where he's like a Josh Brolin now. He's slated. He's still doing Suicide Squad 2.
Okay, so that was my question.
Yes, he's still doing that. And so production and the whole process of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to resume once that's wrapped.
Okay.
So he's directing for DC and Marvel right now.
Is he the first one to cross?
Directorial wise, I think so.
Didn't Josh Whedon do something?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he crossed over at some point to do something.
Maybe animated.
He finished the production of something because Zack Snyder's kid died or something like that. Remember?
I don't think I do, man, but I'm sure if it's going to be anyone, it's probably going to be him,
Yeah.
Him or Snyder, but Marvel's not trying to ruin any more movies. So I just think this was probably the best move for the movie.
Yeah.
He's been there. It's kind of his love child.
Yeah.
Yeah. And granted, those jokes were very ill in taste, but if you can't joke about anything and everything, then you can't joke at all.
Well, I think, granted, he's not a comedian, but comedy's kind of safe from those things because the whole point is to be offensive.
No, definitely not.
No?
No, man. No way. No, comedy is not safe.
Yeah.
Comedy is like
it should be safe.
It should be.
Yeah.
Comedy is like the trench warfare right now. People are going after motherfuckers.
Well, they could be after them all they want, but the point, like a Joey Diaz, like he's going to be crude. That's the point. If you don't want to be...
I'm totally with you there.
Yeah.
I'm just stating the fact that comedy isn't what it was 10 years ago when like the Boondocks was airing on TV and Dave Chappelle was saying all this shit. Yeah, and motherfuckers got away with wild stuff back in the day. But now everybody's cracking down and they're like, hey, that was fucking offensive. Get off stage.
I was looking back at old... like people have compilations of old Machinima Respawn. They said shit that was just like like
that wouldn't fly today.
They would make rape jokes and like shit that just would not fly today.
Yeah, man, very different atmosphere. 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, honestly. But this whole James Gunn thing, kind of bringing it back full circle, I think is the best move for the movie because it'd be kind of sad and honestly kind of awkward to see him not cap off this trilogy.
It's that, and I think it'd been really easy if any like minor issues that maybe somebody would have had with the next one moving forward, like story wise.
Like, see what happened? You don't have a James Gunn.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think you avoid that at least because.
Well, even then, man, you get a new director, a new writer. It's not going to be the same movie.
Yeah.
You and I can write. You and I can. Spitball ideas here and come up with hey, write a movie about X, Y, and Z, and you and I are going to have 2 completely different scripts.
Yeah.
We're going to have similar elements because we think similarly, but our scripts are going to be too wildly very,
Definitely.
And that's the thing. I think because, like I said, he did drop an apology. Everybody was kind of on his side about this, and it's good to see him back. Now I'm kind of curious to see if Marvel's like, yeah, we'll bring it back, but you can't do any more DC stuff. I'm curious to see if that's going to be a new amendment in his contract.
I don't think they can do that because they're the one that terminated the agreement originally. I think the ball is in his court in this particular situation.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know if he signed anything yet, so I can't give you
this is true.
Can't give you concrete stuff.
Yeah, we don't have any of that, but yeah. So yeah, I think
Guardians is kind of like, I don't want to say it's separate from the whole MCU.
It's definitely its own thing.
But I think you could watch that without being totally absorbed by everything else.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I think that's the whole.
It's the whole point.
The whole epicness of being able to kind of literally slide over to a different galaxy is you don't really have to worry about what's going on Earth necessarily, you know?
Very cool.
And now it's like its own thing. Now it's all combined, but eventually they're going to go do
the whole Guardians thing was hilarious. It was a D-tier comic that blew the fuck up.
Absolutely.
Anyway, let's talk some gaming. So, I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, no, I don't even know what this is.
Okay, so the Master Chief Collection is coming to PC. And it's kind of a big deal. I know you don't give a shit about, Microsoft or Halo or any of that, but it is kind of a big deal because we haven't got an official Halo game on PC since Halo 2, and that was terrible on PC. And so now we're getting a 4-game bundle on PC, and this is what everybody wanted. This has been like the whole massive thing. When they announced the Master Chief Collection, which was Halo 1, 2, and 3, 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, it was a wreck. It dropped like a shit show. It had a terrible launch, this and that, so many bugs. But now they finally got back on track. They fixed it. I spoke about this like late last year, and it's coming to PC, which is what everybody wanted. And so it's going to be Halo Reach, Halo 1, 2, and 3. This shit's going to be wild.
Are they working on a new Halo?
Yeah, they're working on a Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite. Yeah,
and I have issues with everything past Halo Reach, meaning 4 and 5, and probably Infinite.
What was the last one was called? Guardians?
Yeah, Halo 5 Guardians.
How many generic titles are they going to roll with? You know what I mean?
Well, when you lose most of your OG writers and directors and, most of your OG team, shit's going to happen. Shit's going to go south. And
this is true.
It's really upsetting because, at this point now, everything outside of, the Halo games is literally the best Halo experience you could get. The books are phenomenal. The movies are great. Literally everything but the current state of the games, and it's kind of sad. But I'm glad the MCC's coming to PC, and I'm sure they're going to allow for cross-platform play between Xbox and PC because, Microsoft, and they don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Unlike Sony. I'm not going to get into that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's good, man. I don't know if this will qualify for Game of the Year just because it's a re-release almost. A remaster re-release collection, so I don't know if it'll
I think
qualify.
That's a timing thing. I think it really depends on the person because I think right now for a lot of people, Resident Evil 2 is kind of up there for Game of the Year. But
yeah, and some people are gonna be like, "Oh, well, you count Resident Evil 2, but you didn't count Master Chief Collection." Yeah. Well, Resident Evil 2 is not only a remaster; it's a whole kind of reimagining.
Yeah,
and
this is true.
And a whole update. You're jumping from Windows XP to Windows 10 kind of thing.
I think it's even bigger than that, dude.
Yeah,
Windows
you haven't played it, you don't understand.
Yeah,
but the fact that MCC was dropped already, this state was dropped 3 years ago, does this qualify, even though it's a redropping? That's kind of my mentality of it. I will, however, be buying this. I am very excited, and I'm glad to play through the campaigns with my buddies again, because those are some of the best stories. Some of that shit was really good. The Halo lore is vast and excellent. And I love it.
Okay, cool. I mean, to each their own. Like I said, as far as, I think I've mentioned this previously on the podcast before, but as far as envy when it comes to the PlayStation side to the Microsoft, it was never Halo. Halo never did that for me. It was always Gears of War that I wanted.
Gears of War was proper, man, but same boat as Halo now. How the first 3 excellent, great story, finished it, and then they dropped a prequel. It's like, okay,
Judgment, issues,
and then now you got 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
And granted, we're kind of on this phase where the Halo prequel, it was actually pretty fucking good, and I'd say that was arguably the best multiplayer experience that Halo had, and that was super controversial when
that was Reach, right? Yeah,
that was super controversial when that dropped. But kind of looking at the state of everything now, it's easy winner.
I'm surprised you didn't throw another thing on this agenda this week, Gabe.
What?
Your boys at Gearbox.
Yeah. You watch Chicken Run? Have you seen Chicken Run?
Yeah.
Yeah, those chickens are up to something. Here's the thing.
Those chickens are up to something.
Here's the thing. Gearbox has been under some heat recently, and they've been with Randy Pitchford or Stafford. I can't remember the dude's last name. Disgruntled ex-employee, blah, blah, lawsuit, blah, blah, a whole bunch of stuff. Borderlands 3 is in kind of this weird new gaming atmosphere. Where if it drops now, I'm sure the sales will be great initially, but I don't know if the game will have the same longevity the first two did, or because we're kind of in that state now. And you got to think like, how is Borderlands 3 going to make money now? Well, buy shift keys, which are the premium loot box keys, this and that, and it's in a weird space. I don't think that. I don't want to say it won't hold up, but holding up and keeping up are two very different things.
Who's the publisher on that?
2K. And 2K. Money. They did, what was it? Evolve?
Yeah.
Yeah. They remember that shit show?
I did.
Yeah, that thing had its saving grace and its dying throes, and even that couldn't.
Oh my
bring
god,
it
I
back.
totally forgot about Evolve too.
Yeah, man.
Because it was such a weird.
They shut down the servers too.
It was so polarizing because some people are like, "Oh my god, it's so good," but other people are like, "It's a fucking rip off."
Phenomenal idea, poor execution. Like I said, man, they went back and they fixed everything, but it was too late because people didn't give a shit, and they finally said, "Well, we can't support this no more." And I'm excited if they announce Borderlands 3, I'm gonna be excited. I love that series.
What is it about these publishers that put out sporting games that are so greedy?
Well, because if you can just reface the same game for 10 years in a row and make money, why not?
There's definitely part of it, but it's like
what is the need for a new 2K Madden or FIFA game every year?
Players.
I'd say 3 years. It would be a good cycle.
Yes and no to play, because I think people want to play as their favorite player, and if their new favorite player is a rookie, then
totally feel you.
Yeah.
Totally feel you on that. But what's the need?
The
money.
I buy a new sporting game like every 5 years, like most. Like this MLB game, I have absolutely no interest because I just bought the last one. Why the fuck do I need it? And honestly, a lot of these people, me, when I create like my own character, I keep that character going until I can't anymore.
Until you're bored with the game or you sell it, right?
Yeah. So like I said, the previous MLB game that I bought, it was like 2013 or something like that. Like it had been a long time.
Man, if we're not counting like skating games, I think the last sport game, I didn't even buy it. I got it as a gift. It was like FIFA 06.
Yeah, I think you mentioned
that's
that.
13 years now.
You don't care about sports though.
I do. I enjoy sports. I enjoy watching hockey. I enjoy watching soccer, contrary to popular belief. I don't devote my life to it.
Mm-hmm.
I will, I'll watch a game.
You're not their consumer though. You're not the person.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But we're still in this kind of bubble where.
Well, I'm saying I am their target consumer.
Like imagine this. Imagine if Call of Duty dropped a new game every year.
Well, they've been doing that.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
But fuck, what were we talking about? Where did this lead art?
Oh, it's a 2K to sports and
so Gearbox those chickens are up to something. It's not confirmed Borderlands 3, but by the looks of it, it's a very strong.
It's definitely
thing.
Borderlands 3.
No, it's not, because they dropped something else earlier this week and it had an N symbol, and it looked like nothing like the font, nothing like this, totally like out of left field. So it might not even be a Borderlands game.
Not likely. I think it's Borderlands.
You remember Battleborn?
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck was that? Where was Borderlands 3? That was prime time for Borderlands 3.
Well, Battleborn was that whole thing was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just not so sure, and I'm a Gearbox guy. I like their stuff. I'm just not so sure that it's Borderlands 3. I got a feeling it could be, and I'm hoping it is, but I couldn't give you a concrete answer. Like if you asked me, like, "Hey, do you think it's Borderlands 3?" I'd be like, "It could be 50-50, man. We're in the ballpark, but they're also fucking around out there."
Yeah. Battleborn. Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody dropped the Battleborn.
Okay. I put this next one on here. I thought it was pretty interesting. Have you heard of the VR experiment?
No.
So this YouTuber, whose name I can't remember, I'm so sorry. He spent an entire week in virtual reality.
Ugh.
He literally plugged himself into the Matrix, right?
Uh-huh.
And so the whole idea was he's going to be productive in VR. He's going to, have his free time, his playtime in VR. And he's even going to sleep with the headset on.
Ugh.
That is insane. So he did a mix between like augmented reality, where you can kind of sort of see your room, and like the full virtual reality experience and stuff, right? So he spent a week in there, I think that's like 168 hours of straight headset and all that stuff. And I watched the full video. It was like 10 minutes long, a little bit under. And I thought it was a very interesting experiment. And so he said that, I think some of the conclusions we could draw out of the video were that the meeting people and having like a friend space wasn't that hard to keep nor maintain. And I thought that was kind of an interesting aspect, because we're in this kind of state in society where nothing is as what it used to be. You don't necessarily have to have traditional friends in the same sense as sort. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think what's this called? That movie, fucking Ready Player One, kind of hit off. Node. Is it the Node guys? The Node guys that did it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I think Ready Player One kind of hit up on that, where these people were interacting on this fake world more than they were interacting in the real world. Kind of sad, actually. But
And we've kind of been seeing that happen. If you grew up in like this generation, you already know what I'm talking about. You had those PlayStation, Xbox, or whatever friends it was that you're like, you felt like you knew them, but you've never seen their face type of shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then at the end of it, the dude goes outside and he's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
He's like, if you want graphics, you got to go outside, which is funny because I think I said that last week, right? But he's like, I've never been so happy to smell outside air. And I was like, damn,
you can't replicate that.
Yeah.
You can't replicate that at all.
So
as much as you may like the feel of things, you can't change that.
Yeah, man. VR is kind of on this snowball right now, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper to get into it.
Yeah.
But I think we'll see something pretty like Matrix-like. I think within our lifetime, I think that's very possible.
Would you participate in such things, or would you stay?
Here's my thing, man. I'll be happy to try it out, but as long as I get to unplug,
This is true.
Because you could get pretty damn close to perfect, but you can't replicate what's happening right here, right now, in this moment.
Yeah.
And figure, I've kind of touched on this last week, but how many people like to hide behind the little mask on Facebook and talk mad shit about any and everything? Now imagine that in VR.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that.
Absolutely. All right. So, I tweeted about this a couple of times throughout the week. So, I was fortunate enough to get a code for the Mortal Kombat stress test, right? I signed up for it, got it. Been playing it. I've probably got maybe 2 or 3 hours in, right? Not as much time as I would like, but I'm a father.
Not the full 80 that you would normally do in your
But I'm a father now, so I gotta do what I gotta do. So, let me just touch on a couple of things.
Right. Talk to me about characters first. That's what I want to hear about. How do they feel? You get 3 characters, right? Baraka, Scorpion, Scarlet.
Correct. I'm gonna get there. Let me get there.
All right.
Let me talk about the netcode. Flawless, seamless.
Well, that's good. Because that was a big issue with X.
It feels like you're in the same room. That's how good it is. So obviously, the point of this is to
no input lag, no delays, nothing.
Very, very little, if at all, noticeable. You can't it's
from a casual standpoint.
Yeah, you can't. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure it's gonna feel silky smooth when somebody's actually in the room with you, right? Then you'll be able to tell the difference. But obviously, I don't have a frame of reference because I've played only online, right? So the netcode is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm sure that was number 1 or 2 priority.
Absolutely, that was the first thing they had. So that's number 1. Number 2, let's talk about visually. It's a fucking beautiful game.
Yeah, good looking game.
It is a good looking fucking game. I'd never thought we'd get to the point where Mortal Kombat, the deaths look more realistic than they look right now. So they did a great job with that. Obviously, the sound design, everything looks great, right? All right, now let's talk about these characters. All right. So the picks of the characters was intentional. They picked these 3 characters because they are
heavy, medium, light.
They are completely the opposite of each other.
Okay.
Now we have a character like Scorpion who is extremely unsafe. You whiff, you die. All right.
That bad? Holy shit.
Well, the problem is that, especially with a Baraka. Okay, let me talk about Scorpion. He is very unsafe. All right.
If stranger danger unsafe.
Yeah, if you put him in a situation where he whiffs a combo, you're gonna get punished because a lot of his shit has startup, and if it's negative on block. So if somebody's blocking your shit, you're gonna get hit. All right. Now the upside of that is that he's extremely quick. All right, and he has some good overheads, some nice mix-ups.
So it sounds like he plays like MKX Scorpion, like Ninjutsu Scorpion. How is he compared to previous versions that we've seen?
I think he's in the ballpark. I don't think he's as aggressive as he was because I think he has a lot more reach tools than previous.
Okay. So he's got a little bit of ranging.
A little bit of range. He has a back 2-2 where it's like not an overhead, but a low. Then it goes over to an overhead. And from the start of the round, the first hit might not get you, but the second hit will. And the natural instinct is to duck and block.
Gotcha. So it's a nice little mid.
Yeah, it's a mid, but
it's a mix-up, huh?
It's a mid
so
and goes
with the low and overhead.
Yeah, it's nice. That's usually how I start off every game, and just to kind of see how ready they are for that, right? He's got some good lows. He's got some nice strings. Kind of, I want to say, out of the 3 characters that exist currently, he's kind of the entry point, right? I think Scorpion's always the entry point. I think
easy to pick him and sub.
Yeah,
usually easiest pick up.
Like I said, very unsafe though. So if you get blocked, if somebody knows what they're reading, if they read you well, you're not gonna get shit in. You just won't.
You're gonna get poo-pooed on.
Yeah. One of the biggest changes with him is his spear doesn't stun without the amplify. You get him, you pull him in, and then you do like a follow up. But if you amplify, then it stuns them. So that's interesting. That's a change.
That's a big one.
That spear is so slow, dude. Like
movie slow.
Not so much when not so much it coming across the screen, but it coming out is so slow.
You got hella startup frames.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Scorpion's probably the one I have the most experience with right now because the other two just don't appeal to my playstyle. But Scorpion, that's my review of him. If you can get in, you're gonna get some mix up, and you're
So
gonna.
it sounds like they made him a little chunkier, slowed him down just a smidge.
Everybody's slow. Everybody. It's intentional. All right. So he's not as fast as he was because I think Ninjutsu and Hellfire Scorpion
were lightning fast.
Yeah, they were lightning fast. He would get in combos before you even knew you got hit. That's a fact,
before you
right?
could blink, yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact. He doesn't have that kind of speed, but relative to other characters in this build, in this game right now, he's fast. All right. There's no dash.
Yeah, we've covered that.
Well, there's a dash, but it's really bad. You could walk faster. All right. So for me, you've played against me. I'm extremely aggressive, and I'm going to be in your fucking face. And so far, with that kind of mentality,
you got to get out of it.
Yeah, I gotta break it. All right. So there's that. Scarlet was probably the second character I have the most time with. She is that keep away, mid-range character, not super combo heavy, but she hits well.
So like Kenshi in the last game.
Yeah, got that range, that nice range, and when she gets in, she can do some damage, but she needs to get out because she's more of a keep away.
Kind of guerrilla warfare, hit and run.
Yeah, all her abilities are very like knock away, keep away from me kind of a deal, right? Which is cool. There's a place for characters like that in every fighting game. Mortal Kombat, obviously, I don't think we've ever really had a kind of a keep away character like that. Now,
a full blown maybe.
Yeah, Injustice was filled with those. All right, and I think that's where a lot of his shortcomings came from.
There was a variant on what's his face, Leatherface. That was a lot of keep away. I think it was the pretty lady variant where he kept tossing those chainsaws.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to how you play.
Absolutely.
The particular character.
Well, I feel like and I was telling Adriana this.
That's what she's built around.
Yeah, Adriana legitimately asked me. She's like, "Well, so what do you think?" And I'm like, it's all about. I think the goal of this game was to make everybody feel as different as possible. Obviously there are going to be similarities between some characters, but I haven't found my character yet, and I think that's why I'm struggling because my style is, like I said, is very aggressive, very in your face, no room to breathe. That's why I like Cassie so much because she had the strings that would constantly apply the pressure, would give you the mix-ups, and a lot of that shit was safe. So Scarlet, yeah, the keep away character, all her variants are all kind of keep away. So not really my style, but I get it, right? Now Baraka, you want to talk about a guy who has like 4 strings and hits like a fucking Matt truck? That's him. He hits like a fucking truck. He has his crushing blow. It's like a knee and a kick follow up. Hits me every fucking time. I don't know what it is about this fucking move. I can't read it. I don't know what it is. Maybe the way it starts up. I don't know. It hits me every fucking time. All right. He just hits me like he's probably the most difficult character I've had the most difficulty against because it's just so. He hits so hard and he gets in so fast, and his objective is to kind of stay in and kind of be that brawler, right? That I'm a fucking.
That's interesting because Baraka was usually a very balanced character in previous games.
Yeah,
he would hit fast, but not for super heavy.
Yeah, he hits
kind of get out of his strings.
Yeah, he hits his fucking like a Mack truck.
That's
his crushing blows are probably the best in this game because, like I said, that comes out very seamlessly. So yeah, those are the 3. Like I said, they were all intentionally picked because they play so different and they feel so different. The hardest matchup being Baraka versus Scarlet. It's very hard to get in, but once you get in, you're in trouble. You know what I mean? There's that. Scorpion, like I said, is kind of that mid balance between has a little bit of has tools for every engagement, but is not that he's a jack of all trades. He doesn't have
jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. I don't know, Gabe. I think you're going to have a very strong opinions about this game when it comes out.
Polarizing?
I think so.
I'm going to hate it?
Now, I had fun. Don't get me wrong. But I don't like...
You're not answering the question.
What?
You think I'm going to hate it?
I wouldn't say hate it. But I think you're going to... long for the days of X because it's very different. It feels completely different, Gabe. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Maybe I should wait then.
No, I wouldn't say
play it after a podcast. See if I want to commit.
I mean, if you're a fan of the franchise, I think you're gonna like it, right? But it's a different game. I think they did a great job with making it feel like a different game because I think especially with those 3D era games, I think there was a lot of copy and paste. Probably
those games had their novelty and their place in time, and
yeah.
Granted, everybody seems to hate them, but don't tell me that shit wasn't fucking.
It was fun.
The bee's knees when it came out.
It was absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It was fun.
It's hard to innovate, especially when you've been doing a lot of good.
Yeah.
In the past couple of years,
Now let's talk about 9. So 9 was a Mortal Kombat game.
Back to roots.
The way it was supposed to be.
It said, let's keep the 3D graphics, but make it on a 2D landscape.
Yeah.
And that changed a lot.
Yeah.
That was like the best thing that could have ever happened to this franchise.
Now, speed-wise, I think it's closer to 11, right? I think that's probably the closest thing that we've had in comparison recently. It feels like 9 as far as speed. But there was tons of opportunity for fuckery, right? Because fighting games have fuckery. That's just the way
absolutely.
They're built on it.
Are you kidding me? That low kick?
Yeah, there's there's not a lot of that.
No.
They have doing their best to make this as clean,
as balanced.
I don't want to say balanced, but as clean as possible. Because I think it's the least friendly Mortal Kombat game I've experienced to new players that I've ever come across. Because
it'd be interesting.
And people are talking about there's just, the combos aren't as long and the execution doesn't necessarily have to be there. I think you have to be more on point now than you've ever had to be, especially with kind of constantly being aware of your meter, your defensive meter, your crushing blows. You have to keep track of those because you only get them once a game. So you want to make sure you're going to get it to secure that round.
I got you.
You know what I mean? So
if we're being completely honest here, MKX was just who can pull off their high combo string first, and not be able to get out of it, because that game had a lot of flair and it was a lot of fun. It was good in a lot of aspects,
extremely flashy.
It was boiled down to
combos
because you had one resource to manage, and then if you blew your load too early, you can't be blowing loads like that, right?
Yeah. No, that's definitely the way it is. With X, this one is more reliant on being aware of your resources, and if you're into that, you like it. I like it. Now, don't get me wrong. This game has pissed me off quite a few times so far because there are things that should hit that just don't sometimes.
Hitbox issues or just?
I think that's part of it, and it's an early build, so I'm not going to judge them too harsh.
We got a month.
Yeah. Well, this build is early. This is something that they've had
since December, probably.
Yes, in the back pocket.
Well, because that's when the debut was January, right? Like mid-January.
So this is something that they've had probably in the bag for quite some time. I'm curious on which characters I'm going to gravitate towards. Now,
I'm kind of curious too.
Based on footage, Sonya comes to mind. Sonya's probably going to be the big one, and Sub-Zero. Obviously, I really wanted Sub-Zero to be in this fucking thing so bad. Because I've seen a lot of footage of Scorpion. I think that's kind of the general...
He's the poster boy.
Yeah, the general thought when it comes to any kind of Mortal Kombat game, you always get a lot of Scorpion, which is fine. Scarlet, I've never really had interest in as her from a character standpoint to a gameplay standpoint. She's never appealed to me ever. Baraka, he's Baraka.
Oh, yeah, we spoke about Baraka.
Yeah. Now, moving forward, I'm really curious to what the general population is going to feel because I think the fighting game community is going to eat this shit up and love it, no doubt in my mind.
You want to take bets on who our mains are going to be?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe next week.
Yeah.
You do who you think I'm going to play the shit out of.
Just based on what we got so far, or?
I mean, because we've had, I don't know, a couple dozen matchups.
Mm-hmm.
We know how the other person plays and which characters we gravitate towards.
Absolutely. Have you been watching footage of this?
Yes, I have.
You've been keeping up? Okay.
Yeah, I've been keeping up.
All right. Okay, we could look into it.
Like I said, I still kind of got my reserves about the game. I want to. It's one thing to watch it, and it's another thing to play it and feel it.
It's incredibly fun to watch, man. I will say that.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's very easily said.
It's a lot of fun to play. You just got to know. You have to. This is not something that you're going to be able to pick up right away and practice. And granted, I understand why they don't put a practice mode in this build. There's no practice mode at all because the whole point
get to jump the gun with a lot of these characters.
Not even just that, but the whole point is to test the servers. And if you're not on the servers, you're defeating the purpose, right? So I understand why they're not doing that, but it would have been nice to get a little bit of a tutorial. This is how our new mechanics work because I still have yet to pull off a wake up
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get that opening tutorial like we always do.
And you know me, I'm the fucking king of wake ups. I will fucking wake you up
with that wake up rap.
Yeah, I will wake.
What's for breakfast?
Yeah, I'll wake you up and fuck you up, kind of shit. But it's not, it's different. So it's very neutral, footsies reliant, and if you're into that, you'll like it. But so there's that. Now I will say this: another thing that fucking irked me this morning, or was it yesterday? Whenever it fucking was. If you're gonna play the stress test, I don't give a fuck what my record is, and it's not great. It's probably the worst it's ever been in any fighting game I've ever played. Fucking play against the people who you get matched up against. I grant, connection. If the reason is connection, fine. But a lot of the times it's just you not wanting to play against me based on my record or whatever. What's the point? You know what I mean?
Especially, it's different once the full game's out and everybody has their hands on it. But on a stress test or a beta version,
and it's not carrying over.
Your priority should be getting in and getting as much game time in as possible.
Yeah, and not fucking around waiting for people to join. Which I will say, man, it's moving, man. It moves. It connects you really fast to a person. It tells you what type of connection they're using. So if they're directly plugged in or if they're using Wi-Fi, that gives you the quality of the connection, and if you want to play it. Like I said, if you want to not play me based on the quality of the connection, that's fine. My internet's pretty fucking good, so that's not it. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, man. Another thing, a small beef with the customizing right now, because obviously it's a beta. It's not built to really save your shit. But I would like it for it to save, if I make some changes, like vision changes.
I'm sure that's going to be an option.
No, absolutely. But I'm saying ooh, this is what the Scorpion I want it to look like, and then I
have fun with the extras on the full build.
Yeah, I build it up or whatever. So I'm actually surprised it's a pretty good depth when it comes to that. Like if you want to customize your shit, you can do it, and there's some options there. You can definitely do that, but none of it saves. That's the only negative thing about it. But yeah, that's kind of my overview. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to getting into the lab, because that's when the magic happens, man. Yeah. When you're in the kitchen cooking. Yeah. So the lab is really going to tell me how I feel about it. I'm sad. It's sad for me to say, for me personally, I think my defensive skills are going to be really hindered because I have yet to learn this new wake up system.
Yeah, weren't you the one that told me learn to block, you moron?
Yeah, well, there's that. No, I can block. It's just the wake ups and the rollouts and the breakaways that I'm gonna have to learn, because I was pretty good with the breaker. I knew when to use it. You know what I mean? Now I'm gonna have to learn this other side of my game, which I've always felt. I don't know, you could attest this or not, but gameplay wise, my defense was always really good. I always knew when to block. I always knew when to break. All that stuff. My defense was always very good. And that's what I think Coffee told me that one time. He's like, it's not so much the offense. He's like, I just can't fucking get in because you're really good at knowing where to block. And that's true. So I'm going to have to learn. And it's a learning experience. I haven't really had to learn Mortal Kombat
in a couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to learn some of this shit.
Should be fun, man. Should be revitalizing and rejuvenating.
Absolutely. So
for both the players and the series.
Absolutely. So I guess we'll see what's like that moving forward.
Very cool. Any closing thoughts on that?
Give it a shot. Definitely learn
something new. What to try?
Because I think it's definitely going to be real easy for older players or players who are more casual to get in and be like, I don't like it, and then walk away. You know what I mean? It's different, and you're going to have to learn. You're not going to enjoy it unless you're going to attempt to learn this game. All right. So that's my opinion on that moving forward. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. Do you have a game? Do you have where were you today?
No. Do you?
No, I do not.
All right, moving on. So let's talk some music news and reviews. And we'll save the March Madness for last.
Oh, we do the March Madness last?
Because these are pretty short things.
Yeah.
So August Burns Red announced a tour. They're on tour with Silverstein, Silent Planet. Should be fun. Nasty tour. I would not be surprised if most, if not all, of those sold out.
I think it's pretty easy for that to happen.
I think it's stacked, man.
It's a good tour.
And it's a 10-year of
Constellations. It's stacked,
ABR
man.
also dropped a 32-song bracket of their best songs. Or I think it might have been 64 thing bracket of some of their best singles and stuff. And I think Whitewashed is going to make it to the final, and Mariana's Trench. I think those two are easily semifinals. Easily.
I think you're underestimating composure.
Yeah, I think so, but I think it's fair to say one, if not both of those, is going to make it to at least semi.
You know what I love about August Burns Red? They're very they don't take themselves too seriously. Did you see the promo for the video? The video promo?
No, I did not. For the tour?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it.
They did this previously with when Messengers came out. it was when the messengers, there was just like one of them hanging out in the back of the bus with the candle in their hand. They're just like, dude, Messenger's 10 years old, right? Well, so that was like the promo for that one. But Constellations, because you know the cover with the guy holding like a balloon or whatever.
I think it's a kite.
Whatever it is. No, I think it was a balloon. I don't know, whatever the fuck it is. So they're like, oh, I love our band walks, and they're all hanging out. They're like, but where's Dustin? And there he is in the middle of a field holding up a balloon in like a fucking morph suit. And they're like, dude, Constellation's 10 years old. They're like, what's that? They're like, that's the song with that's the album with Whitewash. They're like, no, it's Mariana Trench. She's like, oh yeah, those are all our songs on that album. Oh yeah. And then they play the opening for Whitewash, and next thing you know, they're all wearing the fucking morph suit and holding a fucking thing. They're, like I said, they don't take themselves too seriously, which is why I enjoy them.
Well, granted, they drop a Christmas album pretty consistently every year.
Absolutely.
And do you ever seen their Family Feud entry thing?
No.
Hey, what's up, Steve Harvey? We're August Burns Red, and this is why we should be on Family Feud.
I mean,
man, good band. Check it out. I'm probably gonna hit one of their shows. I don't know if I want to go to the House of Blues one yet or the Pops one yet.
We'll see what happens. I love
it's a Monday or a Wednesday,
yeah.
And it's the week of 4th of July, man. We kind of got the short end of the stick, but I get it. You know, you can't appease everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is what it is.
In addition to that, we're also getting Sum 41 coming around in May.
So Sum 41 announced a little tour of smaller venues. They decided that they were gonna
Bottom Lounge.
Play.
Bottom Lounge.
They're gonna play smaller venues because they're like, you know what, it's been a while, and we want to get close to you guys. Which
I think last year they did the 10-year of Does This Look Infected, and they did Concord.
Yeah,
and that's significantly bigger.
Yeah, definitely. So the max capacity for the Bottom Lounge is what, 600 probably?
4.
Is it really?
It's 400 people.
Boy, you lying.
No, it's 400 people, and I'm pretty sure that's including the bar next door.
No, I don't think it's including the bar.
Yeah, bro, it's 400 people.
Really?
Yeah, it's dirt nasty low.
Well, that's good though, because I think it fits the whole purpose of the tour. I like Sum 41, and I think it's a week. I think it's a weekend. Maybe we'll take a trip.
Our entire May is stacked, so we'll have to see.
Yeah.
I think all our weekends are taken up so far.
Interesting.
We got wedding shows, conventions, all that good shit going on.
All right, buddy. So this one's you.
Oh yeah. So have you heard of this Kazoo Incident?
No.
So our I'm not gonna call them our whatever. The Westboro Baptist Church was up to no good again, right? And I don't know what the fuck they were protesting, but essentially a band of metalheads got together and they all bought kazoos and they just fucking kazooed at them all day while they were protesting. And you want to know the best part about all this? This was all organized by Randy Blythe of Lamb of God.
Okay.
Yeah, man. The main concert in Bottom Lounge is 700 people. I'm sorry.
Didn't I say that?
Damn, holy shit. There's no way you could fit 700 people in there.
Like sardines, but probably.
Unless there's another venue room that we don't know about.
No, it's just the bar, the back room, and above. But above is
maybe 700 is for the whole thing. Damn.
For the concert hall. Because I know that upstairs can fit 200 because I was going to get married there.
700 people.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Whatever.
Yeah. So, yeah, the kazoos. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I just thought it was hilarious because Randy Blythe was like, yeah, let's go and fuck with them. They're going to fuck with our shit. We're going to fuck with their shit.
Absolutely. Why not?
Good fuck stuff. He's very like, you seen him recently?
Yeah. He looks weird.
Very Shaggy-esque.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
I saw him with dreads not too long ago. I'm like, I don't know if that fits you.
Do you? I ain't going to judge, but the dude's still got some pipes.
Yep.
I think that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Fair enough. So I didn't know where to put this next one. Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 is getting himself his own History Channel show about aliens. So we know he's a little bit of a alien guy.
Yeah. So it's going to be him and the professor from Ancient Aliens.
Sure.
What's his face?
Crazy
here.
Yeah. I don't know, but like I said, he's getting his own thing. So.
Well, I was watching the Travis Barker interview with the Joe Rogan Travis Barker episode, and Travis Barker said like this isn't like a shtick. This is really who he is. He's like really like dedicated to this. Like they would go out and smoke weed and be like look out the window of the tour bus like, hey man, there's something really out there and stuff.
Absolutely.
So I guess if it makes him happy and like I just want to see Tom DeLonge again.
Yeah.
In Blink, but if we get him on History Channel, I guess that's just as good because, it's in the past now.
Absolutely. Stupid. But yeah, so I thought that was kind of, like I said, I didn't know where to put it. I was going to put it in the notes, but I'm like, we'll throw it in music. Fuck it.
Very cool.
All right, so let's do this 10-song set list. Gabe.
I got my 10-song set list.
I do as well.
All right, you go first.
All right, we got in order.
Hang on. What was the band that we're doing so everybody knows?
We're doing Alexisonfire. All right, because of their hype. And they're also going to be talked about in a minute.
Yeah, so we're going to get over that.
Yeah, so I'm going to start off. I got Young Cardinals, Boiled Frogs, Rough Hands, 44 Calorie Love Letter, Old Crows, Dog Blood, Crisis, Accept Crime, Drunks, Lovers, and Sinners and Saints, and This Can Only Be Anywhere in the World because I'm a fucking Crisis mark. I can't help it.
Yeah, Crisis is a monument of a fucking album.
Yeah.
We actually have some pretty similar stuff in different order. I think we only have like a 2 or 3 song difference here. So I'm going to open up with Boiled Frogs because if you want to get a crowd moving, that's how you fucking do it.
Yeah.
Transition into Rough Hands. Familiar Drugs because you got to play the new single.
I forgot about that.
Is there a new single?
I think I meant to include it. I just didn't.
Yeah, then we have Accidents from Watch Out. I think that's such a great fucking song. It's got that like, I don't know, man. It's got like a really almost like 70s kind of vibe. If there was metalcore in the 70s. Listen, it's not bad production. It just feels like
Rough.
Yeah, like a good way. Like
Yeah.
like Sandpaper should be rough.
Like Spit It Out by Slipknot on self-titled kind of way.
Rougher, man.
Rougher than that?
Yeah, Spit It Out. Spit It Out's production was pretty decent. It wasn't what we see now.
It wasn't compared to anything else on the album.
Yeah, but you could still hear a lot of everything that's going on in the track. Listen to it again, man. You'll be surprised, especially with those headphones.
All right.
With those headphones, you'll hear a lot more. I promise you that much.
I guarantee it. Yeah.
Maybe it's not so much production, so much if you're listening through it with this little string and a fucking monster can on the end.
What's with you with Monster Cat references today?
So after Accidents, we're going to do Young Cardinals. I think that's such a fucking good song. Dog's Blood off that EP. 44 Caliber Love Letter. This is one of them that I thought was fucking hilarious, and it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's a deep cut because it's a recent EP, like a 3-song EP they dropped. It's called The Philosophical Significance of Shooting My Sister in the Face, an essay. Number 9, Drunks, Love, Sinners, and Saints, and then This Could Be Anywhere as 10. I think that's just like the best way you can end out a set list of this band.
Yeah, like I said, if I could include This Could Be Anywhere in the World, I would have done it like 5 times, but I figured that's breaking the rules.
Yeah.
All right, so that was our 10-song set list. Speaking of which, quick shout out to our boys at Lost Boys Collective.
Whoops.
Yeah, sorry. They were giving us a little bit of a retweet out there on the Twitter land, saying like a really nice thing. That was nice.
Yeah, man. It's good to see. This next chapter, I don't know if you listen to Snow yet.
I haven't got a chance to listen to it.
It's a bit of divergence from what they did previously, but it's nice to see that they're very skilled in many aspects. But one of the dudes, the writer, said, we've been working on this for 5 years.
Wow.
Like, holy shit. So they must be, they're clearly not in this for the money, because if you were, you'd be cranking out something every year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? But yeah, shout out to those guys. We did, I think it was 108, that we did a review of the Yellow Wallpaper and that whole part 4 EP, whatever it was. Check that shit out if you haven't already.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. We appreciate the shout out.
All right, now let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Yep.
So we did a 32-song album bracket, and we took 4 kind of subgenres of the core community. We did hardcore, post-hardcore, metalcore, and help me out with this last one. Deathcore. All right. And so we kind of broke that up to 4 albums apiece within these 4 subgenres, what kind of represents each as a whole, and then we did a 32 album bracket, and we kind of mixed things up. So you're going to see deathcore versus like post-hardcore and shit of that nature, and we kind of divided up this bracket. I took top 8, you took bottom 8. Let's go bottom up. Let's start with yours and work our way up to mine. You want to give a little explanation? Like, tell me the lineup and why you chose what you did.
All right, so first off, we're going to start off with Harm's Way, Posthuman, and Jesus Peace, Only Self. So these are 2.
I already know what's going to win this one.
Do you? You think you know?
Yeah.
All right, well, these are 2 hardcore bands that happen to get lined up in the randomized machine. I'm actually going to go with Jesus Peace, Only Self.
Why is that?
I like the sludginess of it out. Now, don't get me wrong. Harm's Way did a great job with, I think they made my top 5 last year. Did they not?
Yeah, I think they were like 4 or 3.
Yeah, they were close. I like the album. I think it sounds good. But kind of hopping off what you said, I liked kind of that sludgier kind of production-wise because it was not as clean. Maybe because they don't have as big of a budget. I don't know. But
I think this is a pretty fair and even lineup.
Yeah.
It just comes down to, I know, I appreciate that you didn't pick favorites on this one.
I didn't. I have another one on here. You're going to be like, no way.
Well, probably. I already know which one it is.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I do.
We'll get there when we get there.
But, no, I feel you, man. There's something really, there's just something inherently excellent about grimy music and grimy production.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, it doesn't work out all the time for every single band, but this Jesus Peace album really kind of encapsulated that.
Absolutely. So I did that. Are you taking winners here? Are you writing down the winners?
Yes, I am. I'm currently updating them.
Excellent. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. All right, next up on my lineup, I got Holy War by That Art Is Murder, mashed up with Seosin by Seosin. This was a tough one.
Yeah? Did you have difficulty?
I listened to them both, and I don't know if it's nostalgia. It could be.
Seosin?
Seosin took the win on this one. Give it to Seosin. I think it's that self-titled album is just so fucking good, and it does all the right things. It has a lot of good singles. You're Not Alone. Voices. There's a lot of good shit.
Came out at the right time too, man.
It was like 2007, probably 2006ish,
yeah.
probably. Don't get me wrong. The Artist Murder, the Holy War album is so good. I loved it, but I don't get it. Like, it might be nostalgia.
You don't think it's gonna end up being a timeless like Seosin?
Yeah, not quite. I think because the fact that you and I were able to debate which one we would put on here instead, I think kind of shows where it stands comparatively. Because Seosin came out naturally to the both of us because we were both going to put it on our list. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, The Artist Murder. This album is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Definitely listen to it, but it's going to be very hard to beat Seosin.
Yeah, man. Like I said, there's a difference between a good album and a good classic album.
Yeah.
There's a strong, hard, defined line there.
And Seosin is one of those. It falls in that category. This one, the easiest one to pick.
I think it was an unfair matchup.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And because I totally agree with you, although I do love both albums in their own rights.
Now,
so the lineup is Alexisonfire
versus
Crisis versus Job for a Cowboy, Doom. You already know who won.
Yeah, Crisis pretty much ran away with this, but I think it'd be very hard to. Now, what I'm most interested in is the matchup for the next round. But Alexisonfire, Crisis. I mean, I like Job for a Cowboy in passing, but they're not my.
Yeah, and coming from a guy who thoroughly enjoys Job for a Cowboy, who's I had my story last week of how they were my introduction into crack cocaine metal, the heavier stuff, right? The gateway drug type of shit.
Yeah.
Crisis is a monument of an album. It covers all the bases, emotional, political, everything you could ever want in a good, proper, like post-hardcore metalcore album. Like it even, you got to listen to it if you haven't. You already know what I'm talking about.
So don't really have to get into much detail about this one. So this one was pretty hard. I think this was probably one of the bigger matchups that I looked at.
Okay, so quick question. I know this is your favorite Fit for an Autopsy album.
Mm-hmm.
Is this your favorite As I Lay Dying album too? So the matchup is As I Lay Dying, An Ocean Between Us, and Fit for an Autopsy, The Great Collapse.
Yeah.
So that's the lineup. So it's your favorite As I Lay Dying as well?
I think so.
So it's a deathcore versus metalcore.
Yeah.
And what do you think?
Now, this one was hard.
Because they're both really great albums in their respective scenes.
Yeah. Now, I think as a whole, I think As I Lay Dying edges out a little bit. But
that's fair.
Two things. For the sake of variety, and just because I feel like the singles on The Great Collapse rip a little bit harder, I'm going to go with Fit for an Autopsy. Okay. Because like I said, as an album, I think it might be a little bit of a better story. I think it fits. I think there's more of a mission statement with As I Lay Dying's effort, but I just like fucking Hydra, bro. That song fucking kicks so much ass.
we should do a little debate here of who did more for the metal genre, Will Putney or As I Lay Dying, and that'll be an interesting fight.
Let's put that on the docket for next week for sure.
That'll be an interesting.
I like that. I like that argument.
Okay, so next one, I think I know this one too. We kind of spoke about Dance Gavin Dance. The lineup is Dance Gavin Dance, Mothership, Motionless and White Creatures, and we have strong feelings about Motionless and White. And the whole Dance Gavin Dance thing that we mentioned is that it's very era-esque. Yeah. Depending on which era you like, which singer you like, is going to be where your favorite album lies.
Yeah, this wasn't the Dance Gavin Dance album I would have put on here. But this was your selection. Not a bad album. Gave it a listen. Just overall, I don't know if it's a me thing. I've always thought they were mid-tier, and a lot of people put them higher than that. I always thought them as like a B+ kind of band, and a lot of people put them way higher than that. So, Creatures, that album did so much good stuff for a debuting band that you can't even compare the two.
Abigail still smacks.
Yeah, it still does. A lot of those songs still fucking rip. So
.com, The Snow, Part 1, 2.
Make a Misconception.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff on that Creatures album. And I think I put both these albums on here, actually.
You did. Yep.
And I mentioned it previously, but this is an album I hold in very high regard. And this is coming from a guy who hasn't kept up with Motionless and White in a very long time.
That is the same for me as well. But Creatures, very, very good. I still go back to it every now and then.
All right, now we got a juicy one.
Yeah.
This one was probably rough for you, huh?
Not as rough as you think.
Yeah, I think I know what your choice is too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so The Devil Wears Prada, Dead Throne, which we've spoken about as probably the Devil Wears Prada, not EP-related music that I probably hold us in the highest regard. Against I Kill the Prom Queen Beloved, I chose
I Killed the Prom Queen.
I Killed the Prom Queen.
Yep.
For a couple of reasons. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, Death Throne fucking kicks so much ass. But we're talking about an album by a band, I Killed the Prom Queen, that was their like reemergence, even though they fucking since disappeared, into the genre and back into the scene, and it just fucking kicked so much ass. They have so many good fucking songs on here, and this as an album, kind of the inverse of the Fifth for an Autopsy as I Dying argument. As an album, I think it's better. I don't know. I love Death Throne, and it's so good, but there's something about it's a visceral experience. I Killed the Prom Queen. When you listen to it, you fucking feel it, and my wife feels it too. Because I lobbied this to her. I'm like, let me see what she has to say. She's like, I like it. Don't get me wrong, I love Dead Wears Prada, but man, that I Killed the Prom Queen album is so fucking. Anyway, I seen them play those songs live, and at Warped Tour, which is not the best representation for a live band because of the sound,
and they still nailed it.
And it fucking murdered. Front row, that shit was fucking stupid. So I took I Killed the Prom Queen over Death Thrones. For like I said, because I do think it is a little bit of a better album, and for the sake of variety, I want to throw Gabe for a loop on a couple of these.
Sure. So
if you would have told me that Death Throne would have made it out of the first round, I would have fucking had a heart attack. But I'm the one that did it.
It's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yep.
Because another one of our favorite albums doesn't make it out of the first round. This lineup is Code Orange, Forever versus Vanna's Void.
Whoa! I got a couple more.
What do you mean a couple more? What are you looking?
I got They're Only Chasing Safety, A Mirror, As Blood Runs Black, and A Year for a Night.
Oh, whoops! I needed to scroll down.
Yeah,
I was like, why are these not showing up?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I didn't scroll down.
So this is the easiest fucking one I had to decide.
Amir got a bad lineup or a bad matchup.
Yeah, I think
because the album, it's not bad. I don't love it. I know you enjoy it.
Yeah.
But the fact that I think you could have put most of these albums up, They're Only Chasing Safety, and it would have been a sweep first round.
Yeah. So, like you said, Amir kind of got the rough end of the stick. I enjoyed this album a lot, but They're Only Chasing Safety is a fucking masterpiece.
I think Amir would have been a different story if it was in the next matchup.
Yeah, definitely.
Because this one is also kind of a sweep.
Yeah.
I'd say for you at least.
Yeah. They're Only Chasing Safety, man.
Yeah, no, nothing to be said there.
Yeah, I don't have to talk about it. Come on now. Moving along, Year of the Knife. Ultimate Aggression against As Blood Runs Black, Allegiance. If this were you, I think the result might be a little bit different. Yeah. But I chose Year of the Knife because I like it. It's I'm not super familiar with Year of the Knife, and I'm not really, honestly, Gabe, I'm not really super familiar with As Blood Runs Black too. I know they're one of your bands that you look at as one of your, like you said, your entry points.
Not bands, the album.
Yeah. But
did you at least re-listen to Allegiance?
I listened to singles. Not bad, honestly.
It's thick.
Yeah,
it's
not
mixed.
bad. But for me, because I'm a hardcore kid at heart.
Yeah, I understand. I'm a deathcore kid.
Yeah, so I chose Year of the Knife, but closer than I probably thought it would have been.
Give that whole Allegiance album a listen through, man. It's only 40 minutes, but that thing packs a lot of grime and pop into it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to take a look back.
And it's unfortunate because I really man, this album's great. But when Speedy left and kind of the whole band fell apart, and this new Christian Bartholomew guy came in, it hasn't been the same thing. Christian Bartholomew. It just really, this band has not been.
Can you think of a more religious name than Christian Bartholomew?
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe. Now it's my turn, right?
Yeah. So those are my winners. That's 8. We're down to 8 or whatever. So
very cool.
Let's go.
Here's my first lineup. It is Someday Came Suddenly by Attack Attack and Fake History by Let Live. Now I have a strong preference here.
I'm sure
but
you do.
I'm not letting it win simply because of the fact that I think Fake History did a lot more for its respective genre at the time, because remember when Someday Came Suddenly, it did a lot of new stuff, but not everybody was on board with it.
It's funny that you say that because I'm going to agree with your choice, but I think that logic is interesting.
All right, hear me out. I think if we're saying, if you got a room of like 100 metalcore kids, right, and you said, what's the best Attack Attack album? I think you'd get a decent chunk of kids saying Someday Came Suddenly. But then you get a nice chunk of kids saying all the other albums. But if you got 100 post-hardcore kids and you said, what's the best Let Live album? You got 2 choices, buddy. You got 2 choices, and I promise you, 70% of that's going to be Fake History.
That's fair.
And that was my logic to it.
Okay.
I do like Someday Came Suddenly more. It just kind of fits what I'm looking for in that. And the whole MySpace core thing, I'm a sucker for that shit.
Yes,
I
you
really
are.
am. And I do enjoy fake history a lot. But I went for, I didn't want this to be cliche. I didn't want to pick my favorites here. I went for what kind of did more for its respective genre. Because Attack Attack never truly came back to that same Someday Came Suddenly vibe. And for some, that was a deal breaker. And for some, it was a reinvention of the band.
This is true.
So controversial. Well, back in the day, controversial album. Maybe now, not so much.
Yeah.
But Fake History is going to take it.
Excellent.
And sorry, Caleb.
He's doing fine, Gabe. I promise you, he'll be fine.
All right. So this next one was another kind of unfair matchup, but that's just the way it happens sometimes.
That's
Kill
random.
Switch Engage, The End of Heartache, and Red, White, and Green by Upon a Burning Body. Man, you know who takes it. It's Kill Switch Engage. This album dropped.
Whoa!
It's Kill Switch. Are you kidding me?
I thought you were totally gonna throw me a fucking curveball on that one.
No, man. It's Kill Switch Engage.
Okay.
I love Upon a Burning Body.
Yeah.
And they're one of the bands that brought me into deathcore.
You know what I'm stoked about?
What?
That we're actually not choosing our favorites. That we're actually.
I'm not, because I do have. This is another one where I have a preference album wise, because Upon a Burning Body, they bring a lot of their own flair into the scene.
Excellent.
But when the Kill Switch album dropped, it really did kind of set everybody back.
Yes, it did.
And granted, they are graduating towards dad metal, if not the
my
granddaddy of dad metal right now.
Shut up.
But that's okay, because bands change, but this album won't, and that's what's important here.
Excellent.
Because it's cemented in as a classic.
I could have swore. Okay, keep going, man.
Yeah, man. And then this one, I kind of touched on this. It's sad to say, but it's Code Orange Forever and Vanna Void. I love Vanna Void. I love it so much. I want to, but it's very top heavy. Void is, and it trails off.
Honestly, Gabe, you want to hear something controversial coming from me?
Sure.
I probably would have done pick Code Orange too, because I think it's a better album. And I agree.
I think Digging is the best Vanna single of all time.
Probably, yeah.
I think
Flowers up there.
Yeah, Toxic Pretender. That's banger.
But the problem is that this is an album.
Yep.
So
Yepers. And that's all we got to say, because, man, we did a whole ass review. We did like an hour-long review of Void.
Yeah.
Listen to that. Okay, so this one was interesting. So we got Bone Palace Ballet, Chiodos, and Amorosa, or Relativity, Amorosa. I give it to Chiodos.
Okay.
And here's the thing. I think Amorosa gets too much credit, and I think Chiodos is kind of in the back of everybody's minds now. Because when they were big, and they did their thing, right? But now it's, who's talking about Chiodos now? Nobody. And that's fine, because they're not out and about. They're not doing
active,
shit anymore. But can we just slow down for a second here? Like, these guys did so much in such a short amount of fucking time and dropped so many good albums. It's like are we just gonna suddenly forget about like Pink Floyd, and we gonna forget about all these giants? And I'm not the biggest Chiodos fan.
Did you review this album? Did you actually look through it?
Yes, I did, and it was that's my mentality right here. It's like that. Relativity is good. It's a good album, and that's where it stops. Bone Palace Ballet is a great album.
It's an experience.
Nobody talks about this. Nobody does. It's like, I feel like if you want to talk about Chiodos, you got to turn on that switch in the back of your head. It's like, oh, I used to listen to Chiodos. It's like, what do you mean used to? We still listen to Chiodos in this bitch. Yeah. And that
true.
It's kind of, you feel me? You see where I'm coming from? Amorosa is a great band. I feel like a lot of people are still talking about Amorosa. I'm like, oh my God. I get it. It has a lot of more maybe mainstream appeal.
You know what's interesting about that?
What?
I think Chiodos set the stage for a band like Amorosa to even be a thing.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. That's a fair statement.
Yeah.
They loosened the mayo jar, and Amorosa just kind of uncapped it.
Popped it, yep.
Yeah. And that's just kind of where my head's at right now.
Fair
a
enough.
lot of people are still Amorosa. And, granted, they reach kind of maybe a wider audience. Chiodos comes out on top, man.
I think, and it's funny, looking at, I think, honestly, this Bone Palace Ballet album might be a dark horse to win this whole fucking thing. I'm looking over the lineup, and I'm like, man, that's so good.
Maybe we should give round 2 a nice little shuffle.
Maybe.
Yeah, kind of switch it up.
Maybe.
So yeah, man, I just thought that was kind of a thought there.
Yeah.
Because when's the last time anybody mentioned Chiodos?
Fair
Especially
enough.
this album, right? Arguably the best Chiodos album.
Yeah. True.
All right. Next
Proud of you for that one, Gabe.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just,
Yeah.
You feel me?
I feel you, dude.
All right. Next one. Hate to see it go, but Great American Ghost, got a terrible lineup against All That Remains, Fall of Ideals. One of the earliest metalcore albums I could remember, dude. When this thing dropped, it was fast, it was nasty, it was disgusting. The production was great, and it had that like guttural scream on 6 that was like fucking like 35 seconds long. I was like, holy shit, this album and like Overcome and their next couple of albums leading up took me through high school. Like all those workout days, all those gym rat days, all those track running days. All That Remains was a good chunk of all that.
Yeah.
And I love Great American Ghost, and I'm super excited to see what they're cranking out next. And I think they're doing a lot of good things for the hardcore genre right now. But this is a newer, up-and-coming band that will one day aspire to greatness versus a band that achieved it 12 years prior.
Correct.
And I almost feel guilty giving All That Remains it, but I don't, because I just have a lot of stock in Great American Ghost, and I think you do as well.
Definitely. I like that.
But
it's hard to beat the classics, man.
It's hard to. It really is. And we chose albums we thought was best representative of this genre. We included a lot of new stuff, but a lot of old stuff, and it's just the way the cookie crumbles. I feel like I'm going to say that a lot today. So that took it.
All
right, let's talk. So this one's going to be interesting. Chariot, Long Live, and a Whitechapel Mark of the Week. See, this is another one of those. It's really a coin toss or like a smidge away.
Man,
I love the Chariot,
but
there's no but. I love the Chariot.
Yeah, they're great.
They're bangers.
Now
Whitechapel takes it.
Yeah, there's the but. That's the but.
Here's the thing. I don't even think you could have. And granted, we did 8 albums per thing, right? And you're the one that said it because you put Whitechapel on here. You said we can't have a deathcore bracket without Whitechapel. And
this is fact.
Granted, it would irk people like you and me, but I think you could very easily have a bracket without the Chariot.
No, you're right.
And this is one of those where I have a preference, but I got to give it to the album that encompasses.
Well, you say that. I'm the one that put the Chariot on the list, and they almost didn't make the list. So you're right.
I'm just saying, man. I think we both like the Chariot more than we like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Monuments more.
I've seen the Chariot live, and it is one of the most bananas, cuckoo crazy shows I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Well, now they're all in their own little thing.
Yeah.
Like Holy Gold and Fever, and some of them are still loitering about.
Yeah. Interesting
Good stuff. So I got to give it to Whitechapel, though, man. I don't think it's. I love Chariot. And I feel like I got to say that. You
don't have to explain yourself, Dave. The whole point of this is to make some difficult choices. The
Whitechapel album brings a level of... Nah, I'm going to stop right there.
All right.
This next one.
How many more you got? Jesus Christ, how many did you grab?
This is my last one, actually.
Okay.
Actually, no, I got Dos Mas.
Okay.
Because we split it. This next one is Knocked Loose, Laugh Tracks, and The Cleansing, Suicide Silence.
Ooh.
Yeah, this one is nasty, nasty, nasty.
I think you got the harder end of the bracket, Gabe.
I did get the hard end of the bracket, man. You want to chat about this for a little bit? I want to talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it.
Suicide Silence, when Mitch Luckett was still in the band, was...
Deathcore. They were.
Yeah, they were the fucking face of the scene.
They were.
How Architects is now and ABR is now, right?
Correct.
When this album dropped, it was something else. It was like that bubble was waiting to burst. But... Now we're in the same now we're in the same ballpark with Knocked Loose, man. That bubble is waiting to burst as well. Here's my thing. I gave it to Suicide Silence.
Okay, good.
I think the album is better as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Knocked Loose singles come out swinging with a whole different ferociousness, man.
Oof, that's even a tough argument, man. Now here's the deal. Real quick, I don't mean to interrupt your train of thought.
Sure.
Now because you're saying, "Oh man, the suicide bubble burst," right? And it did. This was the burst. Now, if this was a comparative conversation between this and maybe Knocked Loose's next album, which is not out yet, obviously, then that's a different story because now we're talking about bands that I feel were at the same time or on the same level of growth. Right now, this is the step before. This is Knocked Loose, the step before they burst like Suicide.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think that Knocked Loose bubble is going to burst.
You don't?
I think they're going to keep on chewing. Here's my thought process. I think that if you get recognized by a lot of bands that have been in the scene way longer than you and have much more grounded roots and they have a steady fan base, if they put stock in you, you're gonna go.
You think this is a slower burn? Because White Castle. Suicide Silence blew up.
Wait, hang on, hold on. Where the fuck did White Castle come from?
I thought Whitechapel in my head, but
just slid out.
Yeah, it slid out
like a slider.
Slider. I had a sliders this weekend. I had it for the first time since I got sick. But anyway, the Suicide Silence, it blew up. They were so big. They were
2010
massive.
era.
I think it's hard to say that any band in the scene was as big and as popular. Now
They brought deathcore to the forefront.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, are you saying that Knock Loose is more of a slow burn, that it's going to gradually launch as opposed to having this big rocket strapped to them, they're at the moon, and then fall off? Is that what you're trying to say?
Here's my thing. Knocked Loose does have a rocket strapped to their backs. They went from Kentucky nobodies to one of the
Kentucky somebodies.
Yeah, to one of the guys representing hardcore music as a whole right now.
I thought you were going to go with Kentucky on that one.
I would say Kentucky too. But you got like Wild Turkey and Four Roses, and you got a bunch of breweries down there.
Colonel Sanders.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think. All right, let me phrase this very carefully because I'm trying to get out a specific point. Knocked Loose knows what they have to live up to, and they will knock it out of the fucking park.
Knocked Loose it.
They will knock it out of the loose park. Yeah, there we go.
Sure.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Sure.
This album currently, Laugh Tracks is good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Cleansing is a better album. And that's where I'm going to leave it. If, like I said, man, if this was maybe different albums or different points in their careers, different chat. And it was already hard enough.
Yeah.
So if you want to switch it up, it's going to be even harder.
This is true.
But I had to give it to The Cleansing.
All right.
Because that album did a lot for the band, for the scene. And, man, I remember those shirts were everywhere. You remember that album cover shirt? Dude, like everybody had those fuckers.
I was there.
Back in the day. Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I think I had one at one point.
Very cool. I got one last one. All right. So we got Alisana, The Emptiness, and Bless the Fall Witness. Yeah, dude. I just been getting the short end of the stick all day.
Shit, that is tough. Now, it's not tough for me. I imagine it'd be tough for you.
The Emptiness.
Absolutely. Yes.
I liked Bless the Fall's early stuff. I think Witness is a good album to get into if you want to get into Bless the Fall.
They are like the pull-ups version of Underwear for like metalcore. That's like the starting, like you want to experiment and see if you could pull it off. So you start here, and then you're like, oh man, I gotta take a shit in the toilet now, and then you go to like something heavier.
All right, totally out of left field.
Yeah, sorry.
Out
of the Knock Loose Park.
Wow, holy shit! I've never been derailed so hard on this podcast prior.
The Emptiness versus Witness. Go ahead.
Fuck, dude.
You can't follow up that.
Wow.
You can't. I worked on that one.
Here's my thing.
Okay, go ahead.
When Bless the Fall took off, it was like a sparkler. I was like, oh, look at me. Look at me. When The Emptiness took off, it was a whole different set of fireworks.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of credit I'm not giving to Bless the Fall. They deserve every ounce of it for Witness.
For that,
it's a good album.
yes.
But The Emptiness is something
the
that...
emptiness will haunt you.
It took post-hardcore and it ripped it up. It teared it up and it said, hey, you think you know post? No. Now you know post. And it took a lot of good metalcore roots.
A little bit of everything.
Chopped it
A
in
little bit of a pop in there. A little bit of everything in there.
Did a lot of good stuff. And that album smacks. And I like Witness. But The Emptiness got to take it.
Absolutely.
And
how many post albums made it to this round? I feel like a lot of post albums.
Let's take a look, man.
Let's do a count. Hold on. Let me
Fake History, Let Live. That's one.
Hold on, let me get a piece of paper. Hold on.
Oh, he's grabbing a piece of paper.
Because I genuinely want to see how many albums of each genre made it through. Hold on.
All right, copy that.
Sorry.
Copy that. Yeah, we got interesting lineups too. Let me know if you want to shuffle them around.
We'll talk about it. Hold on.
So the four albums, or the four genres, I should say again, are post-hardcore, hardcore, deathcore, and metalcore.
I put post-metal, death, hard.
Very cool. All right, so lineup one is Fake History, so that's one for post. Kill Switch Engage, so that's one for metal. Code Orange Forever, hardcore. Bone Palace Chiodos, that's post. All That Remains, that's metal. Whitechapel, that's deathcore. Ooh, that's a nasty lineup. Whitechapel versus All That Remains.
Yeesh.
Cleansing, deathcore, versus The Emptiness, which is post.
Oh, God.
Jesus Peace, hardcore, versus Seosin Self-Titled. Oh, man. That's post. Ugh.
Yeah.
Crisis
Post.
versus Fit for an Autopsy. Creatures versus I Killed a Prom Queen. That's not going to be a fun one to deal with, is it?
No, it's not.
They're only chasing safety versus You're the Knife. That's probably the easiest one in the second round, unless you want to mix it up.
Maybe.
Let me know if you want to do a shuffle. I'm fine with that.
We'll talk about it maybe off.
But how many post albums made it? Well, how many of each genre?
3 hardcores, which is funny because we're like hardcore heads. 3 deathcores, 4 metalcores, and 6 post-hardcores.
Holy shit! Only 2 albums got eliminated.
Yeah, and those were
Hang on, I'm looking through them right now. What the fuck got eliminated? Oh, one of them was post-hardcore versus post-hardcore.
So
Amorosa didn't make it through.
Yeah,
and then the Chariot didn't make it through.
No, Chariot was hardcore. But the other one is Dance Gavin Dance was the other one.
Yeah. Wow. The other 3 are pretty even, but post out here with 6.
If you would have, I would have thought Death had the least, but I guess we're wrong.
Yeah, maybe, man.
Interesting. I think it just shows where our heads are at.
Yeah, man. I think looking at that numbers, I think we like more post-hardcore albums than we give credit to. We enjoy more deathcore album
than we thought.
Than we thought, yeah.
Maybe we're not hardcore kids. Maybe we're post-hardcore kids.
That's fine, dude.
Yeah.
When you live in the Midwest,
this is
and you're kind of in between all these genres,
because this is post. This is like a palpable number that we can look at and kind of examine our thoughts.
Yeah, I didn't think this was going to be the numbers. I thought metalcore and hardcore were probably going to be leading, maybe tied. Deathcore with like 2 or 3 albums, just because this album lineup was kind of not in their favor.
Yeah.
And post with like 3 or 4.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so we have tangible numbers. I think I might want to do a shuffle on some of these albums.
We could do that.
It'll be a clean sweep, and I think we have a set winner, honestly, if we're looking at this objectively.
And what do you think that is?
They're only
chasing safety.
Because if this matchups are going to go the way I think it is, this is going to take top. So we should definitely give this a shuffle.
And think about it. We mentioned this last week. If we did define the great line
under metalcore and this under hardcore,
it would have been
post, I should say.
It would have been no fucking competition. It'd probably be them at the end. Who would have thought?
Yeah, man, it was a rough one. So that is round 1 done. And like I said, we're gonna do a little shuffle. We're gonna post the winners this week. Nice little screen grab. And then we're gonna do the next week's lineups.
Yeah,
and we're not gonna tell you what got shuffled. You gotta listen.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to listen to that. So yeah, that was the first round. Very interesting, very telling statistics, and it was fun.
All right, I got 2 bangers of the week you should check out.
Okay.
So first one, like I mentioned previously, the Lost Boys Collective dropped Chapter 3 Snow. It's the same setup, 3-song EP, very artsy fartsy. Check it out. I enjoyed this.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a departure from the dirty, grimy, heavy mixed in with the classical. I think it still stands on its own, and I think we were supposed to be getting 3 more parts because there's 5 parts.
Okay.
So we'll see how all this falls into place.
Excellent.
And I'm keeping up with these guys. I think they're very interesting.
And they're nice guys, apparently.
Yeah.
So, nice guys.
So here's my other one. I enjoy this band called Carousel Kings. And they're a pop punk band, but I think they're everything that's right with pop punk at the moment. I think you should check them out. Their new single is called Codebreaker, and they got an album scheduled for May 31st. Check that out. Okay. Also, the merch they dropped is really fucking good looking, man. They've been really consistent with good looking merch. Like them, Every Time I Die, Beartooth have very excellent and consistent merch.
You know, Crown of the Empire has really good looking merch too.
Yeah, they do too, man.
Yeah,
they do too. Devil Wears Prada was kind of in a weird spot for the past couple of years merch wise, but I think they got back on the right footing.
Because they had such a fucking peak with the Reptar shirt, and
that Reptar shirt is classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't care what you say, man. That's like a relic of our times.
You're right. You don't have to tell me I was there.
Reptar King of the Ozone shit. No, I got that shit playing in the back of my head.
Yeah.
That Scorpion Deathlock. Oh man. All right. So you got anything?
No, man. That I didn't have. Dude, I was so invested on listening to everything that I could from all these albums.
It was rough.
It was kind of hard to find.
But I think
bangers.
we covered. Well, you covered your stuff. I covered my stuff. When we shuffle, we'll have less albums to plow through.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting to see the
All right. So with that, that was the Second City Kids podcast, episode number 110. And, we'll see you back here for 111 all the way across the board. How are you going to say that? 111? Is that the plan?
10010.
All right. So binary. We're speaking of binary now. Anyway.
I know binary.
I'm sure you do. No, I don't know binary. Right. I'm non-binary.
You're non-binary.
Anyway, that was the Second City Kids podcast. You can go ahead and like us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, all the stuff that you can find your podcast at. We have 8 ratings on the iTunes store, and we're still a 5-star podcast.
Thanks, Mom.
Definitely. But until then, you guys can go ahead and check us out. And deuces.